Welcome to the Crazy Dre Podcast Show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as I'm trying to fight a cold and watch the Super Bowl with Bad Bunny or Good Bunny, or whatever you want to call him, was it worth it? Was it not? You know what? I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of things that's going on with Bad Bunny in the game. The game, a lot of people complain about the game. Other people complain about the Super Bowl, halftime show. The Turning Point Super Bowl show didn't do any as good as Bad Bunny's performance. 135 million people watched that, and only 6.1 million people watched the Kid Rock anthem, what you want to call it, the Turning Point. But I think that we have to look at one thing about Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny really sounds horrible, but that's not the point. The point is that if you create a good enough beat, you can have anyone say anything that they want to if it doesn't make sense to you. Correct? It is no different than someone that sings good and they write a bad song. You're still going to listen to that song because the beat's pretty good. You got to remember Enrique Iglesias, Julio Iglesias' son, he can't sing. Enrique can't sing. It was I can't pronounce his name right. But his dad can. But the beat is what matters in that purpose. And the thing that you have to understand is, even though Bad Bunny wasn't your cup of tea, it's really about the fact that we're just an older crowd that don't listen to the new age stuff. And again, this doesn't really matter if Bad Bunny is good or not. It really doesn't. I mean, you should have gone and get yourself Mark Anthony. Okay? Mark Anthony sounds 100 times better than this guy. But for some reason, Bad Bunny. It was supposedly that he didn't want they didn't want to pay him anyways. But it's a political thing too. So you have to understand, as we took over Venezuela president and kidnapped him, or took him down, we have to make goods and ends meet with the South American community, and the fact that we have ICE in a nation deporting illegal immigrants or legal, whatever stance that you take on ICE or against ICE. But that's not important. The important thing that you have to understand is that in order to make things seem better, to look better, the kids who are listening to the most popular music now are going to speak out the loudest. And they just don't stop because they don't understand consequences for their own actions. But in some areas of their society, they're going to be rewarded for his stuff, for saying that Bad Bunny is a good artist and ICE is a bad thing. That's true. That's probably an ideology of what people think about ICE and the Trump administration. And some people think that Bad Bunny is for the liberals who wanted to speak out against Trump's policies. So everything has an agenda. Everything always has an agenda. It's not black and white. It's usually always gray. So if they really was concerned about Bad Bunny's reputation of watching Latino people, or Latin people, kiss each other, male, female, and female, or the fact that you see two people who are getting married on the stage while Bad Bunny is doing That's all he was really doing. And he was saying a couple of words in Spanish. And some people say that Bad Bunny is about love and peace, and that's what he's trying to say. And on the football, he said something about we are everyone, we are love, we are peace, whatever. But he doesn't care. He makes millions of dollars per year, and he wants you to know it. He's not in your status quo of you getting upset with his music or you're getting upset with Trump. He's just there to do a job, and he's always going to do the job. So he doesn't care, right? Excuse me as I get my drink of tea because I'm sick. But Bad Bunny is no different than what NWA was back in the day. Even though NWA had a message against cop brutality towards the black community, and a scruff of a lot of people's feathers back in the late 80s, early 90s. But it fit a purpose. But they were never in the Super Bowl halftime show. So you have to understand that sometimes uh, our argument isn't really important, especially if you're 50 years old. If you're 50, if you're 40 years old and older, you're not going to have a say in what type of music is going to be on the halftime show. Clearly, we couldn't have Bruce Springsteen on the halftime show because half of the 50-year-olds and upper don't like Bruce Springsteen for his liberal policies. And Bob Seger is not in any shape and form of a political man, so he doesn't want to get involved in that type of genre. So Kid Rock, he tried to make a statement, but it was just him being 19 again, or 24 when he made it huge in America in 1996. It was just him and a couple of his buddies singing songs, and I watched it for about 10 minutes, and that wasn't even more anything entertaining than Bad Bunny. Some people may have liked it, but I'm not a country guy, and I'm not really a Kid Rock guy. And they're not going to have Guns N' Roses on the halftime show because they only have 3 good songs. November Rain's Too Long, Sweet Child Mine, and a couple other ones like Paradise City and Don't Cry. I mean, but people are not going to want to listen to GNR for 30 minutes. So, Bad Bunny, call it what you want to call it. He did what he was supposed to do. They paid him or they didn't pay him, and now he's bigger than itself. Someone told me that he was downloaded the most among all audio downloads in the world. I don't know if that's true. I didn't look that up. It's not really important to me, anyways, because I'm not in that generation. I would listen to, Tupac Shakur, Notorious. I'm not going to listen to Bad Bunny. So Bad Bunny did what he wanted to do. He did what he was supposed to do. He took his music, spread it around the world. A lot of dry humping on TV, which is fine because, I mean, we used to watch Genuine back in the day hump the floor or some girl on the video. I don't know why people are getting so offended by it, but it just means you're old. If you get offended by what's on TV now, it's because you're old and you can't be in those sexual positions no more because you feel unattractive or feel ugly or feel uncomfortable. So understand that. And then I also want to make uh, a correction that I made last week about Anthony Davis going to the Washington Capitals. Of course, he's not to go to the Washington Capitals. He went to the Washington Wizards, and I don't know why I said that and made a mistake about it, but it looks like he doesn't even want to play, and he's just going to suck the money out of that organization and sit around and play here and play there. But he may not even play half of the games anymore in the second half. And some of these athletes, they just got to know that their time is over, their time is done. I mean, there's nothing against them. It's just the way it is. You peaked in your ages 27 to 32, and then you downgrade from 32 to 40 because LeBron James is still playing. So it's really about this is really about someone that may not have enough money in the bank or didn't understand how his finances, or maybe he really doesn't want to do anything with his life, so he wants to play basketball. But he knows that his team's going to lose, so why is he going to put 120% into the practices and games when you're not going to win an NBA Finals, right? His best chance was with the Lakers with LeBron James, but that ship has sailed. So Anthony Davis going to the Washington Wizards not happy. He'd be sucking the money out of that place. So you guys have fun watching this guy not play at all. We got to talk about Daniss Jenkins of the Detroit Pistons. Was on a very a single season uh, contract. It's almost like a 10 days into a year, very minimum what do you call it, contract. And he rejected that a couple of days before they traded Jalen Ivey. So it paid out for Detroit to pay this guy $8 million for 2 years. The option is 2026-2027 season. He is making the largest. He'd be the richest single season conversion from a two-way player into this $8 million contract. So he was at a very minimum wage contract with the Detroit Pistons, but the guy from Ionia, I can't pronounce anything. Oh, my disability just bugs me. From St. Joseph with Pitino, and before that, Ionia, Iona. I'm never going to be able to pronounce words correctly ever, so I apologize to that school. But it just pays out that you practice, and you did more practice. And I really think that, again, Jalen Ivey is going to have to practice. He's on the verge of being in the G League. He's on the verge of being in the G League, and his career might come to the end by the end of the year with the Chicago Bulls. Because I don't see the Chicago Bulls signing him because they have so many point guards now. So, shooting guards. So I don't see that happening. So you call it what you want to call it. I have to go back to this game. So going back to this game, a lot of people are upset because the score was 29-13, and none of the teams scored until late third quarter, and a lot of people lost interest. Well, in reality, this is what sports is supposed to be like. The better team, the more dominant team, is supposed to take down the weaker team. And Drake May was the weaker of the team. Drake May had a very good year. He was second to the MVP voting, lost to Matthew Stafford, and it proved to the point why his second-year quarterback, he did all right. He did great, actually, under Mike Vrabel. He did great. But that inexperience of that type of pressure that comes in every other down from Seattle or other teams in the playoffs, as you get older, you can read that better. You can tell the receivers to change their routes a little bit because the ball is going to get to them a lot faster than waiting until they finish that route based on the blitz. So that's something that you have to consider. That you got to consider that sports isn't really about FanDuel or DraftKings, about making the spreads even. Sports is about the fact that a better team can get demolished or a better team can destroy the weaker team. In reality, majority of the games in the NFL or any other national league, like the NHL, the MLB, and the NBA, there's going to be bad teams that lose by 30. Just not good. The Knicks lost to the Pistons by 30 points. It just proves to you that not so much the Detroit Pistons were so much better, but the Knicks are so much worse. That's what that proves. And it proves that teams are built not to be very similar fashion that they come close to winning. Teams are built to make other teams look really good and other teams look real bad. But if you're a conspiracy theorist and understand that FanDuel, DraftKings, and these other sources of gambling, they're going to tell these teams to back off. to make more money for them, or to have profit bets where players just don't score anything for the next game because they made a bet with the league, or they made money with the league, or they made money with these gambling sites. Okay, so having Seattle demolish Drake May and the Patriots, that's football. That's just is. They're a better team. I don't even think, and I say this again, Tom Brady, if he was in the league 20 years before he started, he would never had a good year. He would never had a good season. He would never been the greatest quarterback ever, because you guys were able to take down the quarterback, and if he got hurt, too bad, so sad. So understand that having the Seattle Seahawks beat the crap out of New England Patriots, it's what it should be in real sports. Just in all real sports. Okay? The more fictional it is, the more that the teams who are really bad lose by a point or 3 points or win by 1 point, it's all about rating. That's all about rating. So if you like this podcast, follow me, subscribe. I'm on Patreon and YouTube and wherever you download your podcasts. And I'll be out of here. Hopefully I'm not sick forever. All right. Peace and love. See ya.